represents about 50% of the cohort that started in grade 1. Let me put it sharply by way of example. Of the 1.4 million children who enrolled in grade 1 in 1998, only 552,000 made it to matric in 2009. This means that close to 1 million children are swallowed into this big dark hole every year. Of this, a fraction make it to tertiary. According to Higher Education South Africa, under 1/3 of this fraction, that is under 33% of students complete their degrees in regulation time. Our graduation rate of 15% is among the lowest in the world. These statistics are shocking, but they do underscore the fact that yours is not a mean achievement. You represent a very small minority of the elite and the privileged in your society. Today's graduations are significant as they come at a time when the country and the world are grappling with the onset of the devastating COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has had disastrous effect on teaching and learning. You succeeded despite having to contend with the odds of having to study remotely, disconnected from your lecturers and fellow students. And still, you persevered and prevailed. But I want to cast your achievement differently, to speak about graduation as the beginning of an obligation. Many of you who are here are beneficiaries of some form of scholarship or another. Many of you, if not all of you here, succeeded because of the efforts of your parents, siblings, brothers, teachers, neighbors, friends, sponsors that believed in you. They took a chance on you. We are grateful that you did not disappoint. And as a beneficiary of the kindness of others, expectations are that you will do the same. It is the only way that we can make this world a better place. It is by being generous with our time and service. In doing so, we will be responding to the call best captured by the former President of the United States, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, when he declared, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." In these perilous and difficult times, when all about us seem to collapse, we have an obligation to keep hope alive and to give hope a chance. This graduation, taking place in a grip of devastating epidemic, is on its own an expression of hope. We have lived through it by being responsible, adhering to the medical protocols that were crafted for our benefit. We cannot afford to take that lightly. We need to keep reminding ourselves that we are the lucky ones. For the grace of God, we were spared. We cannot afford the luxury of being disconnected with the great social upheavals of our times. We, who are children of the poor, cannot and should not shy away from responding to the needs of the still marginalized in our communities. We need to see the patterns and linkages between diseases and poverty, the relationship between social justice and life expectancy, and how the battle is about dignity and human rights, as Larry Brilliant will put it. It is worth stating that the service is or that service is at the center of this university's strategic plan, which seeks, amongst others, to transform the university into an institution which, in the first instance, serves the needs of an African constituency and intellectually awares the investment of its social environment. An institution which responds to the needs of society in which it is located and helps to transform it for the better of the lives of the people in whose preoccupation and location it is embedded. I would be remiss, Chancellor, if I do not commend faculties and supervisors for sustaining the project of knowledge creation. This year, we've seen a significant numbers of doctoral candidates, 24 coming from the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, 7 coming from the Faculty of Science, Agriculture and Engineering, 14 coming from the Faculty of Education, and finally 3 from the Faculty of Commerce, Administration and Law. They deserve an applause. Deans of faculties and supervisors, you have actually outdone yourself. As we prepare ourselves for a life of service, let us be inspired by the words of Martin Luther King, Jr. King had this to say: if it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, sweep it so well like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep it so well like Beethoven composed music. Sweep it so well like Shakespeare wrote poetry. Sweep it so well so that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause and say, here lies a great street sweeper who did his job so well, unquote. We want to thank you and congratulations. At this point, the Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce the guest speaker for this afternoon, Mr. Sibusiso Emmanuel Bukosini. Before he comes, just a few words about him. Mr. Bukosini comes from Manguzi. I'm told that my pronunciation is suspect. Manguzi, in the village of Mvela Busha. He is currently in St. Lucia, in the north coast of KwaZulu-Natal. In 1992, he attended Shayina High School, where he obtained his certificate. Then he went to study at the University of Natal to further his studies. He obtained a degree of Bachelor of Science, Social Science, and an honors degree also in the Bachelor of Science in Sociology. For the last many years, he has been engaged and involved in the world of the environment. In 2002, he worked at Ezemvelo, KZN Wildlife, as a senior community service manager for 9 years. Then 2010, he was hired at Umhlabu Ya Lingana. To cut the story short, Mr. Kosini, you'll forgive my pronunciation. It's not deliberate. But Mr. Kosini is a game changer. That's why he's been invited. A very confident, hardworking, multi-skilled professional with an experience in all stages of management. He is a deadline, outcome-driven person with strong, as you'll see, communication skills, both written and verbal, accurate, and I'm told he can even pronounce words properly, and creative. Mr. Bukosini.
Thank you, Acting Vice-Chancellor. Once again, I am Sbusiso Bukhosini, and I am from Umhlabuya Lingana. There comes my perfect pronunciation. In Manguzi, which is Gwangwanase. Acting Chancellor, the Acting Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, all members of the University Council who are present, and those who may be with us here virtually because of the advantage of technology that we now have, university executives, astute deans, deputy deans of various faculties, management committee members who are present, members of the University Senate, members of the Institutional Forum, our academic and support staff, our colleagues that we have here, the President of the Convocation, Mr. Nkwanyane, donors who made this day possible and sponsors of the University of Zululand, those who saw the need to contribute in this wonderful and prestigious event that we have here today. Inkosi yesizwe sawamkhwanazi Indonga and all members of the Mkhwanazi Traditional Council who are present here, traditional leaders, Amakosi from different areas who may be with us here to witness this wonderful and amazing work that is taking place, parents who are present here, grandmothers, grandfathers, brothers, and sisters. I can imagine the joy that you have today. The university alumni, the SRC president and the SRC in its entirety, and most importantly, our graduates for 2021 in the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. I would like to greet you all in this afternoon. I'm sure this is a situation where we are not going to be very sad or show signs of being sad. But if masks were not blocking my eyesight, I'm sure I'd be seeing thousands of smiles here. So I will assume that you are smiling, because I know when this time comes, it really deserves a smile, because it's not something that is easy to achieve in your lifetime. It is truly an honor and special privilege to stand before you on this very special and prestigious occasion. But before I go on, let me firstly congratulate all the graduates who are the center, who are the focus of today's session. And I also want to thank all the lecturers who are here with us, the families, friends, for being the pillars of strength during your academic journey, not a normal academic journey, a very difficult academic journey. I have no doubt that this is a day that all of you have been looking forward to, and you are not here by chance, but you are here because you really do deserve the crown. You are kings and queens, and you deserve really a round of applause. I just want to remind you what our former late President, Dr. Rolihlahla Nelson Mandela, he once said, and I quote, "It always seems impossible until it's done." When you look back when you look at all the challenges, the obstacles, and I'm sure you know it all. Some of you, I know you survived to come and be here because of the social grants. Your grandmothers gave up all that they have, your parents, so that you'll be here today. So it's something that we can't take for granted. So that is why we are really saying, congratulations. This course resonates with you, as I believe there are times in your academic journey when things got so difficult to a point where it seemed like this day was impossible. And I'm sure a lot of people said it's impossible, especially with the situation of the COVID-19, which we are faced with. It did really look as a mission impossible. We are gathered here today to testify that indeed, nothing is impossible. If you work hard, nothing is impossible. If you are focused, nothing is impossible. If you have a goal and you are goal-driven, nothing is impossible. So again, congratulations, because I think you really did a wonderful job. It would be remiss of me to come here and only congratulate you and forget to congratulate the university management, especially because what this demonstrates is the ability to stand up and face the challenge, especially during the time of the COVID that we had. You will agree with me that this situation caught a lot of us, the institutions, government, private sector, by surprise. And a lot of us were not ready for this. Very few institutions and government entities and government structures were ready. Very few government structures, even the private sector, had a mitigation plan to deal with this pandemic. But the fact that we are here today is a clear demonstration that this management and the leadership of this university is very capable and very able, and it demonstrated that it can work beyond the circumstances which many people would think they are out of their control. But this time around, I think this leadership demonstrated that in as much as it appeared to be extenuating circumstances that are beyond our control, but this leadership brought us here, and I think they do deserve a round of applause. I must say here, and I must put this into context, we are here today and we are very happy that you are graduating. But on the other hand, as government, we're asking ourselves too many questions. Especially when you look at the stats, SA 2011, it gives you an indication that about 35.3% of the people of this country are unemployed. Now the question is, as you graduate, where are we taking you to? So this is a very difficult question for us in leadership positions. It calls for all of us. I am the CEO of Ismangaliso Wetland Park Authority. Now it means that the question that I should ask myself is, how am I going to contribute through the annual performance plan in ensuring that those who are qualified but unemployed do get employed. But it also becomes a responsibility for all of us in the leadership position to look at the issue of the paradigm shift, to say, yes, we do go to school, we graduate, but maybe some of us will go for employment. Some of us must look into or venture into business opportunities that are available, that government makes available, so that we make those who are in business to create even more employment opportunities. That becomes a paradigm shift in terms of how we think. I do understand the challenges of starting a business, that you need capital. But there are programs that government has, and if we can invest in those programs and improve our governance in government, I am sure with all those resources, we can make a difference and we can make a dent, especially in this issue that we are faced with of unemployment, which is so rife in our country. I did tell you that I work in a conservation sector. Smangaliso World Heritage Site. It is the first World Heritage Site to be ascribed in South Africa, in the country, in 1999. And we managed that park all the way from Mapelane right up to the border of the Mozambique. It is a Ramsar site in the main. And as I said, it's conservation, but we also deal with issues of tourism and ecotourism in particular. Why am I bringing this to your attention? It is a true fact that conservation, especially in today's time, is not going to be a success unless we have the expertise, especially coming from this department. At some point, conservation was seen to be for the elite or for the few, but conservation these days, you are not going to be able to be successful or to even sustain conservation if you approach it from a silo mentality. You need to incorporate your communities living in and adjacent to these parks. You need to demonstrate benefits so that they will buy into what you're doing. Otherwise, you are faced with a challenge of hungry people across the fence, and you are keeping meat inside the fence, and definitely there will be poaching. So the question is, what are we doing to make sure that these communities see the value of conservation, because it can be a sustainable economic driver as it is. You will agree with me that for quite some time, mining has been seen to be the sector, the economic sector. But you will also agree with me that it has proven itself not to be very sustainable, in as much as we do indicate that we can rehabilitate the dunes after mining. But the fact of the matter is that even if you rehabilitate, you are not going to bring them back into their original state. So ecotourism then becomes the answer. But how do we do ecotourism, and how do we make sure that it becomes a success? As I indicated, we need to bring in the communities and different stakeholders. We need the research community to come into the institution, in our institutions. And we want to believe that this institution is going to contribute significantly in making sure that we as Ismangaliso, as well as Emvelo KZN Wildlife and other conservation agencies, are successful in our endeavors of ensuring that our current as well as future generations enjoy what we are enjoying now. Vice Chancellor, it is on that note that I must announce here a couple of things which are very critical. We are, as Ismangaliso, we did come to a decision of signing a memorandum of understanding with this institution, University of Zululand. We will be working with you in all those spheres that I have mentioned. So you are now our partner. The Vice Chancellor was saying that you don't invite guest speakers for nothing. I'm sure now you understand why I'm here. It is because we are signing a memorandum of understanding with you, and we'll be working collaboratively with you in advancing the cause of conservation, ecotourism, but at the same time, creating hope that if you study, there is an opportunity to engage with institutions of ourselves. I must mention, Vice Chancellor, that in the current year, I lobbied about 40 million rands. And why did I lobby that? I lobbied 40 million rands so that we as Ismangaliso would be in a position to employ at least 200 unemployed graduates. And I'm happy to say, I wish this graduation ceremony happened before even the budget was passed, because I was going to make a commitment in terms of how many we are going to take here. Nonetheless, I must say we have in our list a number of students who graduated from this university that we have already appointed. And it is exciting for me as the Chief Executive Officer of the institution that when we were inducting them and we were giving them an opportunity to express themselves, it was amazing to see that you have really made a serious input into these minds. And I have no doubt that going forward, you are still going to do that. And the crop that I see here, I have no doubt that it is that quality or even a better quality. So this then tells me, and hopefully many of us who are here, that this institution is indeed delivering. And once again, I do want to confirm and affirm, Vice Chancellor, that we will be working with you. We will have this partnership. And from now onwards, you can confidently tell your students who are studying, especially in the fields, when you look at Ismangaliso, as I said, it's not only conservation. We've got human resources, we've got social scientists, we've got conservationists, we've got scientists, we've got ecologists, all different types of disciplines. So it is an entity that has the capacity and the ability to service this institution. At the top of our agenda is the issue of transformation. How do we transform these entities which were seen to be for the elite or for the few to an entity that is embracing all the social ills that we face? That is one issue that we are dealing with. Just for your information, we are expanding the scope so that you know and you can see that there is room for you as well. We have advanced to a stage where we said government entities in the main, they usually fail when it comes to business. So we have taken a different concept to say we are going to commercialize our facilities all the way from Mapelane up to Kosi Bay. We will use something called PPP, public-private partnership, to implement a concept of commercialization. When we do that, we get the private sector to perform an institutional function without, of course, selling the facility. But we then derive the economy or money or proceeds from those operations. But when we do that, one of the conditions is that in line with the MOU that we'll be signing, it will now be saying we do have unemployed graduates. When there are employment opportunities in the ecotourism, especially in that sector of commercialization, first preference must be given to students who will be coming from the University of Zululand. I'm sure, Vice Chancellor, now you are happy. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, as I close, to make a call to all our graduates that if you get employment, please, please be responsible. We don't like what we see outside. You spend money, time, energy, educating and producing the quality that I see in front of me. We employ them, they buy a polo, they drink beer, they die. What a waste. If I were an auditor, I would say, Chancellor, it's fruitless and wasteful expenditure. So I'm appealing, and it's good that it's a person who's not too older than some of you, and maybe not too younger. It is doable. You can be a CEO and still be a normal person. You can be a graduate and still be a normal person. Work, remember where you're coming from, understand that you have the responsibility to correct some of the mistakes of the past. You have the responsibility to make that mother who is staying in a mud house to stay in a house that is more decent. You have a responsibility to make that mother and the grandmother who does not know today what he or she is going to eat tonight, to give them that assurity and confidence that's guaranteed the next day, because I have a graduate from the University of Zululand who is now responsible and working. I will have a meal guaranteed. I know sometimes we call it black tax, but unfortunately, that's what it is. I'm appealing for you to be responsible, to be respectful, to ensure that in your areas of work, you practice good governance, you provide good service to the public, and you be that person who puts the interest of the community ahead of yourself. You organize your personal lives, as I said. Your personal financial management is critical because, unfortunately, we don't get taught how to take care of our own finances. As I sit down, very brief story, Vice Chancellor. I just want to share with you what I went through. When I finished my honors degree, I got my job before I enrolled for my master's degree. But I had numerous calls from the banks giving me the credit cards. At that time, it was called, they were revolving, what was it called? Revolving, yes, revolving credit. What they said to me is that because I am a graduate, they are going to give me 3 times my gross earnings. And it's a live story. I took it. And I enjoyed it. But let me tell you, before I knew it, I could not enjoy the fact that I was working. Because each and every time I got my salary, it would go into that deep hole, and I would not afford to live my normal life. Fortunately, I was presented with a second chance, and I said, I am not going back. So I want to tell you today, as you are here, that you are going to be confronted with such situations as you walk out of here. Be vigilant. Be careful. Know that these things happen. So please, the financial management, take care of your finances because it is the source of all the problems that we have today. People failing to manage their own financial affairs and then thinking that they must do otherwise to augment that. The good behavior, don't be boastful. As I said, don't rush into buying fancy cars. Just buy a normal car and be responsible, go to work, and a car that you will afford. Today you have been given the key to the world of opportunities out there. It is in your hands, not anybody's hands, you. If you look at your hands, it is in your hands today. Use it wisely. It is the beginning of the new journey So put it into practice. The knowledge you've acquired all the years devoted to studying, go out there and shine. It would seem impossible until you've done it. Thank you very much.
Acting Chancellor, I simply want to assure you that when Mr. Bukosini was talking about age, it was not a reflection on us. And also the graduates, in case you may have misunderstood the memorandum of understanding, it is between the university and Ismailiso. It does not mean that you should start applying for jobs at the university. Vice Chancellor, I now have the honor to request the Dean of the faculty to present the graduates to you as we proceed to the awarding of and the conferring of the degrees and diplomas.
By virtue of the power vested in me, I confer the degrees to the candidates whose names appear on the program.
The Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences.
Acting Chancellor, I request you to confer the degrees, award diplomas and certificates to the candidates who have qualified for these awards, as well as those persons in absentia whose names appear in the program.
I confer the degrees, award diplomas, and certificates to candidates whose names appeared on the program as requested.
We're starting with the PhDs qualifications.
By virtue of the powers vested in me, I confer the postgraduate degrees on candidates whose names appears on the program. Thank you.
Department of English, Doctor of Philosophy, Adekunle Olomoyewa Kehinde. I'm going to ask the supervisor to read summary.
The title, Perceived Linguistic and Communicative Competence of Multilingual Autistic Children in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. Summary of the thesis. This study examined the linguistic and communicative ability of children with autism spectrum disorder. The study specifically focused on the nature of socio-communication traits of children with autism in KwaZulu-Natal, and sought to identify ways to enhance their linguistic and communicative skills. It significantly contributes to the multidisciplinary field of linguistics, education, and pervasive developmental disorders, in that it identified key issues in the communication challenges experienced by children with autism. The study findings indicated that most children with ASD in this study could be categorized as those with low language abilities, but may have the cognitive ability to acquire, produce, and comprehend 2 or more languages. This study can inform education policies and/or the multidisciplinary team during early childhood. The candidate has published from the thesis and presented at international conferences. Supervisor, Dr. BXS Ntombela. Co-supervisor, Dr. C. Herman. The external
Dr. Kehinde, congratulations, sir. Well done.
Doctor of Philosophy in English, Dudu Monica Lovuno. Title, Student Teachers Awareness and Use of Auxiliary Verbs, a case study of student teachers at the University of Zululand. She was supervised by Dr. Ntombela. I will read the summary of the thesis. Conducted at the university on the northern coast of KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, the aim of the study was to determine if explicit construction of the selected grammar aspect, modal auxiliary verbs, improved students' ability to write English. The study adopted a case study design. The focus was on relation to a sample of 80 student teachers who were randomly selected in 2016 in the Faculty of Education. Of the 80 participants, 40 were randomly assigned into an experimental group, whilst the other 40 were placed into a control group. The study's findings revealed that the experimental group performed better than those in the control group in the use of modal auxiliary verbs. Based on the findings, the study recommended explicit grammar instruction in all the students' levels of study to overcome the challenges they have in writing English, which is not their mother tongue. Thus, time should be created to ascertain that adequate explicit grammar lessons are offered to all pre-service teachers at the university.
Dr. Lovuno, congratulations. Well done.
Doctor of Philosophy in English, Sipho William Nkabinde. 10th errors in English committed by further education training high school learners in the lower Umfolozi circuit. The implications for communicative competence. The summary reads thus. The aim of the study was to establish if the explicit teaching of English grammar could improve the intense competence of the high school learners of lower Umfolozi circuit. The aim was premised on the knowledge that there is an interlink between the English tense competence and the English communicative competence as a whole. By adopting the one-group pre-test, post-test design, the study managed to firstly establish the English tense competence level of learners before the insertion of the teaching manipulation. Secondly, the adopted design enabled the study to experiment with the explicit teaching approach on the population whose results varied the remarkable effectiveness of the approach. As such, the study results evidence the relevance of explicit teaching of grammar skills in the high schools of lower Umfolozi circuit. The study thus recommended inter alia the application of an explicit grammar teaching approach for the improvement of English tense competence and related grammar aspects, supervised by Dr. Ntombela.
Dr. Nkabinde. Dr. Nkabinde. Dr. Nkabinde, come. Congratulations. Well done.
Congratulations.
Doctor of Philosophy in African Languages and Culture, Eugene Begani Buthelezi. Title, Indigenization of the Music Curriculum through Maskandi as a learning program in 2 selected South African universities. I will ask the supervisor, Dr. Buthelezi. And the co-supervisor is Dr. Ntuli.
The summary of the thesis reads thus. Student population in most African universities is predominantly Black South Africans, but the curricula at most of these universities is still dominated by Western epistemologies and knowledge instead of being dealt with in combination with indigenous knowledges. This study aimed to investigate and suggest an alternative way in which indigenous musical arts can have equal value to Western music by incorporating local styles and tradition, such as Maskandi, as a learning program. This qualitative study selected 2 South African universities to investigate the dominance of a Eurocentric worldview in music education. An interpretivist paradigm was adopted as the appropriate paradigm for the study. Data was solicited through semi-structured interviews, document analysis, and observations. Ethnomusicology and constructivism were used as theoretical frameworks underpinning the study. Findings revealed that although indigenization has been endorsed by the Department of Higher Education and Training, implementation has been poor due to various reasons, such as a shortage of resources, inadequate Afrocentric theories and pedagogies, and a long history of Eurocentric indoctrination. The study suggests the indigenization of the music curriculum by adding Maskandi as a learning program. The study recommended that more work be done to explore appropriate Afrocentric pedagogies for teaching and learning of African musical arts at tertiary level.
Dr. Buthelezi. Dr. Buthelezi, congratulations. Oh, well done.
Doctor of Philosophy, African Languages and Culture, Diligent Samkelisiwe Mbogazi, an investigation into the expertise of isiZulu teachers in selected schools, a comparative analysis of PGCE and B.Ed graduates in KwaZulu-Natal, supervised by Dr. Z.G. Buthelezi, co-supervisor Dr. S.L. Ntuli. The summary thesis will be read by Dr. Buthelezi.
The summary of the thesis reads thus. The purpose of the study was to explore and conduct a comparative analysis of the postgraduate certificate in education, known as PGCE, and Bachelor of Education, known as B.Ed, teachers who are teaching in isiZulu as a home language in selected schools in northern KwaZulu-Natal province, South Africa. Universities in South Africa produce the bulk of teachers through 2 different teacher training programs, known as PGCE and B.Ed. The PGCE has a duration of only 1 year after a 3-year degree, whilst B.Ed is a 4-year degree program. The researcher thus sought to discover what this means and if there is equilibrium or disparities in practice. This qualitative study adopted an interpretive paradigm, semi-structured interviews, observations, and documentary analysis were used as methods for data collection. The social constructivist theory was used as a theoretical framework and a lens for data analysis. Findings revealed that B.Ed teachers are much stronger in using a variety of methods of teaching in isiZulu, but do not have a robust subject knowledge base. PGCE teachers are trained for a few months and are weak in methods of teaching isiZulu, but have a solid theoretical subject knowledge capacity. The study concludes that something needs to change in the way teachers are trained in higher education institutions. Some of the recommendations include revisiting the way these programs are structured, the issue of their duration, and the need for in-service training for purposes of further upskilling.
Dr. Mbogas.
Doctor of Philosophy, African Languages and Culture, Rutherford Tembinkosi Mtiyani. Ikhono ligamakhaya enje lokubala inoveli engajwayelekile nokuchaza esebenzisa ulimi olunothile enovelini yakhe ethi uze ungikhonzele. Supervised by Professor Khumalo and co-supervisor Dr. Ntuli. I'm going to ask Dr. Ntuli to read the citation.
The title goes, Ikhono likamakhaya NJ lokubhala inoveli engajwayelekile nokuchaza esebenzisa ulimi olunothile enovelini yakhe ethi uze ungikhonzele. The summary. In this thesis, it was clear how the candidate identified a gap in literature by introducing N.J. Makaye, who wrote a long novel entitled Uze ungikhonzele, with all events happening in one day, which is something unfamiliar in the field of isiZulu literature. The theories the candidate has used, including Marxism theory, narratology theory, reader-oriented theory, and cultural theory, and images were appropriate for the topic, the research objectives, and also the research questions. The candidate discussed theories appropriately, stating both explicitly and implicitly how they are relevant to the study. Due to the use of various theories, the candidate succeeded in critically analyzing Makaye's unfamiliar skill of writing a very long novel, including numerous incidents that take place all within one day. It is recommended that the findings of the novel, of the research, be shared with academia and writers' associations locally and nationally for the benefit of the nation. Makaye's unique style of writing a novel, whereby the events occur in one day, is outstandingly analyzed and presented. Well done to the researcher.
Dr. Mtian. Congratulations, Dr. Mtian.
Doctor of Philosophy, African Languages and Culture, Alan Ross, Mandlenduna Ntokozo Nzuza. Mandlendod. Mandlendot. The use of ma and ka morphemes in the Zulu language, supervised by Professor LZM Kumalo, co-supervisor Dr. S.L. Ntuli. I'll request Dr. S.L. Ntuli to read the summary of the thesis.
The title goes, Ukusetshenziswa kwezakhi ma no ka olimini lwesiZulu. The summary. The candidate has done extensive research on the use of morphemes ma and ka in the isiZulu language. He has logically unpacked the topic by looking into the stylistics approach, a structuralism approach, grounded theory, and related qualitative research aspects. The thesis shows clear evidence of an ability to apply knowledge, theory, and research methods creatively to complex, practical, theoretical, and epistemological problems. The candidate explained and gave reasons why he uses these approaches and theories in his study. He demonstrated without doubt expertise and specialist knowledge in the discipline, field, and body of knowledge. The candidate has made a laudable and invaluable contribution to scholarly debates to the field of isiZulu grammar, both nationally and internationally. And he has demonstrated beyond any reasonable doubt that he has the ability and capacity to do independent research and to draw satisfactory conclusions. His thesis reveals substantial independent study and advanced scholarship resulting in the reinterpretation and expansion of knowledge which is judged to be publishable by peers. Thank you.
Dr. Nzusa. Get used to it, Dr. Nzusa. Congratulations.
Acting Chancellor. Acting Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you postgraduate degree candidates in the following programs. It's Master of Arts English, Master of Arts isiZulu,
Yes. Okay.
and Master of Arts Information Studies.
We'll take each. Okay. I confer, by virtue of powers vested in me, I confer the degree of candidates whose names appear on the program on the Master of Arts English.
Oh, we studies
Then-
English. Okay. English. Nhlakanipho Welford Smanga Kanyile.
Well done.
Krileno Israel Mlaudzi. Now, Master of Information Science.
Here on the program.
Kamsile Majola. Master of Science isiZulu.
I confer the degree of Master of Science in isiZulu on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Sihle Sibusiso Gagaza. Celo Ndumiso Zondo. Bachelor of Arts Honours isiZulu.
The degree of Bachelor of Arts Honors in isiZulu on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Depo Mzisi Khumalo. Fortunate Andiswa Mkhize. Yolanda Nompumelelo Mlambo. Pindile Mthembu. Nomcebo Nokwazi Ngema. Precious Notile Nchakala. Bachelor of Arts Honours Sociology.
I confer the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honors Sociology on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Richness Nokolo Dludla. Nozipho Sanele Mhlongo. Aphiwe Bonganini Mkhize. Bongiwe Mkhumbuzi. Wait. Nokubonga Thokozile Msimango. It's not you. Florence Mbali Mthembu. Ntombi zonke Thandeka Mthethwa. Nokwanda Lungelo Mthiyani. Nancy Ntombikayise Mthiyani. Xolani Mlungisi Mzimela. Mandisa Nobuhle Sokuphola. Bachelor of Arts.
On candidates whose names appear on the program.
Mashia Sinegugu Bengu.
Kaya Mashi. Kaisa Mashia. Mashia.
Elias Bongani Buthelezi. Goodness Pindile Buthelezi. Patricia Tulile Cele. Ruth Thokozani Chia. Sekhululekile Kwanele Dlamini. Mthobisi Minentle Dlamini. Jabulile Thabi Dlamini. Mpilonhle Rungwana. Luyanda Dube. Cleopatra Mona Lisa Dube. Siphesihle Sinqobile Dube. Tembeka Dube. Stabile Pindile Hlabisa. Muzokhulayo Mnotho Hlongwa. Nontobeko Jobe. Nosipho Londiwe Khumalo. Nobuhle Kuzwayo. Wiseman Tabani Mabuza. Wiseman Lindokuhle Makanya. Tabisile Zandile Makoba. Junior Bulelani Makubela. Nathaniel Mcebo Masango. Samgelisiwe Mate. Konziwe Kumbuzile Matenjwa. Kanoe Bright Ntokozo Mbambo. Samuel Senzo Matenjwa. Vincent Sifundo Matenjwa. Tando Mazia. Zodwa Ketiwe Mdluli. Slindile Khanyisile Mhlongo. Nomcebo Mjadu. Nonkanyiso Smelukuhle Mkhabela. Mzamo Mkhize. Thandeka Madili Nguni. Yolanda Lungelihle Mkhai. Nondumiso di Makatso Mukwena. Sinethemba Msomi. Nosipho Mthethwa. Prince Mtiani. Ngobi Mtiani. Phethile Ntombeningi Mvelasi. Siphiwe Myekeni. Teresa Zanele Myeni. Tubelihle Sinethemba Mzulwini. Zime Sabatha Ncanana. Fanele Sibonge Mhlongo. Millicent Zanele Nene. Slindile Ndlovu. Njabulo Ngidi. Ngobile Ngidi. Bonisiwe Nontobeko Ngubane. Kelumusa Ngwenya. Wandile Nhlonipho Ngwenya. Lungelo Phumelele Ngwenya. Sibusiso Lindokuhle Nhlenyama. Zikhethelo Njilo. Sibonga konke Mthabiseni Nsusha. Sithembile Ntokozo Ntuli. Azola Nyauza. Thabisile Nzuza. Sandiso Phakathi. Okay. Yanke. Kwanele Khwabe. Mvana Khadebe. Anele Shabalala. Nokuphiwa Shabalala. Respect Mbalenhle Shandu. Langelihle Mbali Sibia. Sibonelo semvelo Zondi. Nokthula Mary Celimpilo Zulu. Minenhle fanele sibonge Zulu. Buyani Sicebi Zulu. Bachelor of Arts, Environmental Planning and Development.
I confer the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Environmental Planning and Development on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Andile Jessica Barnes. Queeneth Simpiwe Nosipo Biela. Amanda Mastole Gumbi. Precious Nomkosi Gumete. Londekile Ngobile Songwani. Ongama Fortune Ketwa. Sinethemba Precious Kumalo. Pumelele Noluthando Madondo. Nothando Mahlangu. Ayanda Noluthando Malakwan. Peaceful Nomfundo Mgenge. Ayanda Mkize. Andisiwe Ngobo. Ngobile ngiphiwe inkosi Nkabinde. Zinhle Nombulelo Nkosi. Qinile Sinamisile Ntuli. Princess Nonhlanhla Nzama. Precious Gugulethu Shabalala. Dr. Tabiso Sibisi. Priti Tobega Skakani. Richard Nebo Vumase. Miniyake Sinethemba Ngwenya. Bachelor of Arts, Industrial Sociology.
I confer the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Industrial Sociology on candidates whose names appear on the program.
Malusi Bengu. Trevor Mtobisi Bengu. Sinenhlanhla Felicia Buthelezi. Charlotte Nokwanda Buthelezi. Amanda Cebekulu. Beryl Nomcebo Kamani. Roslyn Chetty. Stabiso Kiliza. Tembelihle Dlamini. Noctula Maduna. Msizi Gumede. Snothile Hlengwa. Zekethelo Amahle Jili. Anele Jili. Eyethu Jojo. Sianda Sinentobeko Joseph. Touchlin Brilliant Samkelisiwe Khanyile. Revival Nkosingiphile Khoza. Snethemba Slindile Khumalo. Notolo Wandile Khumalo. Samkelisiwe Nondumiso Madonda. Vincent Mongiseni Mashwama. Mbalenhle Vuyo Lwethu Mathabela. Lungile Nothando Ncineka. Lwandile Mfenqa. Thandiwe Mandisa Mkhize. Thobeka Sweetness Mkwani. Sinenhlanhla Ngadi. Mbalenhle Mgomezulu. Bayanda Nguni. Feist Mukhele. Ngateng Molefe. Thando lwenkosi Mthethwa. Charmaine Sanele Ndwandwe. Thabile Fezeka Mgedi. Nokwanda Ngobese. Ngobile Ntuthuko Ngwenya. Musiwagithi Mhlabathi. Fezeka Thangithini Nhlakoti. Precious Andile Nkwanyana. Nontuthuko Nokubonga Ntombela. Nombuso Nchaba. Stanley Zethembe Ntuli. Thembelihle Ntokozo Nxumalo. Fortune Tembe. Kethiwe Nosipho Tembe. Tembeka White. Gugulethu Qulu. Perseverance Zandile Zikali. Fakazile Smangele Zulu. Philiswa Thulebazi Zulu. Bieker Smluleki Zungu.
One, two.
Kawe
the SRC. Council members, Senate members, executive management of the university, Vice Chancellor, Prof. Ex Ntose, members of Convocation Executive led by President Smiso Nkwanyana, representative of Kwankanazi authorities, Gyanbigele, not forgetting to also extend special greetings to parents and to those who made or played major role in making sure that our graduates get all types of support they needed. Ladies and gentlemen, I reserve these greetings for our graduates whom are we celebrating today. To our graduates, indeed, this is the day that the Lord has made to be glad and rejoice in it. So let it be. This day is not for only graduates, but also for all of us who are in this chamber in this moment. This is a moment that many of us will always remember and cherish in our lifetime. To our fellow brothers and sisters, congratulations are in order for what you have accomplished. In so many difficulties we have encountered along the way, You managed to strive with patience up to this far. And you are happy that today we are celebrating and reaping the good fruit of what you have plowed through hard working. With what we have achieved, I believe that our beloved country, communities, and families where you come from won't be the same. Let us be the change in our societies, and let us start now preaching the gospel of making education fashionable, more especially to our young fellows, parents and guardians. Today you have all right to celebrate. These are your fruits. All sacrifices we have made, these are the results. Siyathokoza kakhulu, siyabonga. In conclusion, bafowethu nodadewethu bazali, siyabonga kakhulu indima enidlalile kulabantwana ukuze begcine begraduate namhlanje. Siyaqonda ukuthi emakhaya la siwa khona kwabanye bethu akukho kuhle, abazali badayise okuningi, benze okuningi ukuze sigcine sikwazi ukuthi sifunde ekuyinamhlanje siyaqonda. On behalf of the SRC, may good God bless you all. Siyabonga.
Acting Chancellor, Professor Mtose, Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Siepe, Unizulu Management, Exco and Menco, academic and support staff, President of the Convocation, representatives of the Nkwanas Traditional Authority, chiefs of the local traditional authorities, the SRC representatives, mayors of district and local municipalities present here, business partners, parents, guardians, relatives, sponsors, graduandi. Let me commence with the words of the late, great Nelson Mandela, who said, I open quote, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world," close quote. A graduation signifies many things. It indicates progress, growth, transformation. When you graduate, it means you are more mature academically. I am honored to share this momentous occasion with you to celebrate your hard work and achievements. You have risen to the challenges of the pandemic with resilience and courage. You embraced the transition from contact teaching and learning to online engagements with open arms. Today, you stand as role models against a pandemic that many thought would be the end of their progress. This graduation is validation of your hard work and dedication through a perilous pandemic. Congratulations on your graduation. Class of 2021, the next chapter in your life begins now. As you pursue various career paths, remember that every moment in your life serves as a stepping stone to something even greater. We must heed the words of Malcolm X as he says, education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. But now that you have graduated, so what now? What next? Distractions are everywhere, that you must know. Social, economic, and political factors can be distracting as well, and they often wiggle their way into our lives. Your graduation has placed you in good stead to navigate through the challenges of life. Stay focused on your goals, otherwise the time, effort, and money you spent at university will go to waste. Respect goes a long way, as we have always been saying. You earn respect when you respect yourself first and then others. You have succeeded where others have failed, and that is why you are here today graduating. This is your achievement. This is your family's achievement. This is your sponsor's achievement. You are the most important person today. You deserve praise for succeeding in the face of adversity. But you must be humble, for your success is not measured by the failures of others. Stay true to yourself. Be self-aware. Know your strengths as you know your weaknesses, and you build from them. Strive to improve your community as well as the world. Using your curiosity, enthusiasm, passion, become the leaders in science, education, healthcare, and politics for our tomorrow, which is our future, your future, and the next generation's future. Your journey as a student may come to an end today, but you must never stop learning. Take an interest in your personal development. As a first-year student, you were hungry to learn as much as possible. Your success should be a springboard to greater success. Do not become complacent and let your drive and desire to learn fade in your obscurity. Continue to learn. Not only will learning help you advance in your career, it will also make your days more interesting. Learning will help you stay up to date in an ever-changing landscape and remain relevant. Consider the advice by Mahatma Gandhi, open and close quote, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. We live in a multicultural society where our culture, traditions, and languages must be recognized and celebrated. Unity in diversity is the strength of our democratic society. We must celebrate and promote our ethnic values, our cultures, traditions, and languages. As a graduate of UniZulu, the node for African thought, you must take the helm, be proud of your history and your culture, and let your voice be heard. I wish to also express my gratitude to key role players that, despite the prevalence of the pandemic, you collectively contributed to making this ceremony a success. These are the Vice Chancellor, the Deputy Vice Chancellors, Office of the Registrar, the Communication and Marketing Division, Protective Services Division, Information and Communication Technology Division, the SRC, and the students of this university, as well as the parents, families, and extended families. You have made us proud. That is why today we are here celebrating your achievements. Congratulations, graduates of 2021. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby declare this graduation ceremony officially closed. On behalf of the congregation, I would like to thank you for your presence in this ceremony.